So I'm going to get into this. But this is a relook at what happened with J6 and how the media edited it. And we're going to get into this because recently he had like a reporter ask him a question about it. And I 100% agree with him, like actually suing the BBC on this exact case. But let's get into it.
Hello, good evening.
Remember, BBC is supposed to be like state news. So state news media fucking lied to specifically all the British people and a lot of Americans too, but specifically the British fucking people.
Tim Davie has tonight resigned as Director General of the BBC, along with the CEO of BBC News, Deborah Turness, after a week of criticism of BBC News coverage and allegations of editorial mistakes.
Not even mistakes, it was purposefully done. Here it is. January 6, 2021.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you. And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
Yep.
Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators.
Look at that, look at that. And this is a lot of times what a lot of media companies will do. They're not exactly attempting to lie to you. What they're doing is cutting off information that's extremely important so that once the story comes out, like you see this and you obviously interpret as all lies, but what they did was splice out parts of the truth that they didn't like to make the story and edited it in a way that was very predatory and against like actually what happens. So you get cases like this. And this is like probably one of their bigger ones where to this fucking day, a lot of people don't fucking realize that he never told them to fucking go into the Capitol and destroy shit. He never fucking told them. Not only that, but he actually told people to stop destroying things on Twitter. But then his account got banned around, I think it was like close to 1 or 2 in the morning afterwards. And then after that, he said they incited violence, they did all that. Then he still had a lot of time after he finished his first presidency to pardon them. He didn't. Then Biden came in, and those people spent about 4 years in jail, and he pardoned like a lot of people. But a lot of the people that were pardoned were the ones that already spent 4 years in jail, which would have been as long as their crimes would have been set. And a few people afterward did get charged as well. And there was also, her name was Ashley. No, not Ashley Bat. Was it? I'm pretty sure. But like, there was a girl during January 6th where they were told in one of the Capitol buildings. I think it was the FBI or Secret Service. It was like some form of security. They were told not to enter. She tried to jump over the window and she got shot in the, I think it was either in her neck or her stomach. And then after that, she slowly died. That's the only person that died during the event. There was obviously, a couple of bad actors. Obviously, they deserved to jail. But the whole thing that went down was he did not tell them, hey, go into this building and burn it down. He told them, we're going to protest peacefully. And then afterward, he told them multiple times to leave after he saw the violence.
Congressmen and women, and we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them. But I said, something's wrong here. Something's really wrong. Can't have happened. And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. Our exciting adventures and boldest endeavors have not yet begun.
What happened here today was an insurrection incited by the President of the United States. Those who choose to continue to support his dangerous gambit by objecting to the results of a legitimate democratic election will forever be seen
Mitt Romney
as being complicit in an unprecedented attack against our democracy.
Yep. Yep. That's the thing. That a lot of shit happened, but this is the way it was badly edited. And the BBC, remember, it's literally a state-owned media company by the British government. And not only that, but we had money from US aid, which Trump and Elon cut out early in his term, and it was partially funding these people and like basically funding a literal propaganda machine. But now that you know that, we're gonna get on this. This is someone asking him about like what are they gonna do about the legal case, and I think he's suing them for $1 billion, and I 100% agree with it, 100%, which is that a lot of these companies will not change unless they get consequences for it. And he's won a few cases. I think there's one against CNN. He won for like 10 million. I think he did also win one from, it was either MSNBC or whatever. He has won a few. There obviously are a few cases he also lost. But that was the easiest one.
How you're doing with your legal case against the BBC and their fake news documentary?
Well, the BBC was incredible. What they did is they had me speaking something I never said.
Yep.
And I've never seen anything quite like it. You know, CBS had that. We had the situation on 60 Minutes and not the current owners.
Oh, I'll tell you that. So 60 Minutes, the one he's talking about was, I'm pretty sure he actually succeeded in that one. But it was basically that Kamala Harris had a far longer interview than the one that was shown. And they deceptively cut out her interview and cushioned it in order to make her sound smarter, more capable, and better at asking questions. Because the way the first one was edited made her sound better. But the original version of the video was edited in a way, but the original version, like without editing, was in a way that like she sounded bad, she sounded horrible, she literally sounded like she didn't know what the fuck she was saying. And they cut it out to make her look better, to obviously like influence the election a bit. And he also had that lawsuit.
The past owners, the current owners, I think, are good, Ellison. But BBC took it a step further. They actually they put words in my mouth, and I said some pretty bad things. And I didn't say them. It was AI generated.
Yeah, okay, that part's not true. They did not AI generate it. They just cut off words you said and restructured it in a way that made it sound far worse than what actually you said.
And I said, I never said that. In fact, some of my people said, wow, that was pretty bad stuff you said. I said,
nah, the AI shit was bad. Maybe he doesn't remember, or maybe he doesn't. I don't think he fully remembers, but he should, because he in a lawsuit with them, bro. Come on, they just edited what you said in a way that made it sound worse than what you actually said.
What did I say? You know, I'm pretty good at this stuff. I mean, if you can go through years of these press conferences and you're a popular president of the United States that won in a landslide, that won all 7 swing states, that got record numbers of votes, I mean, so I guess I'm okay at this stuff. I said, I never said that. And then we found out it was AI generated. And they admit they made a mistake. BBC.
No, that was not a mistake. They purposefully edited it. They knew they purposefully edited it. They never thought they would get consequences for purposefully editing it. And a lot of the negative backlash like was well fucking deserved. Because, as I said, a lot of these news companies, especially the BBC, gotten used to just getting away with whatever the fuck they wanted. But now that they're in the middle of a huge lawsuit, and as well as a bunch of people found out about it, they're obviously angry about it.
But I watched them this morning for some crazy reason, and it was so inaccurate. Their reporting of the war was unbelievable. We have decimated that country. And if you watch BBC, it's almost like they're fighting us to a draw. They're not fighting us to a draw.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. But This was during when Hedgeseth was talking about the U.S. military fighting Iran, but he said basically they've decimated the majority of their navy and the majority of their air force, but Iran still has a lot of long distance missiles, and it's been even found out that they are capable of going all the way to the UK, like literally hitting them. And this is not something that's extremely, extremely like surprising for the IRGC, because they've built an entire foundation off of lying, manipulation, and like even using their own civilians as well as like a lot of other people as kind of like, as kind of meat shields for them. So if they do something bad, they will like happily put military bases near schools. They'll happily build tunnels under places. They're responsible for a lot of this shit because they work in bad faith, and how they work is usually that they try to propagandize people's deaths and use it as a way to make people in the West want to stop war. And they use that as influence. That's their main form. And because of that, like they know people in the West are stupid and overly emotional and don't fucking understand how this shit work. So they post it out there. And then, people get mad, and then it adds pressure politically to end things or stop things here. And that's usually their main goal. And there's also a lot of other lies they did. Like the big one was about the nuclear bomb. I think it was, yeah, 3 of their biggest main facilities were blown up, but they couldn't get to the one inside of the mountain that was way too deep for the B-2 bomber to get in. And that one was another lie that Iran does, which is that, think about this, they've tried to build nuclear bombs multiple fucking times. They had scientists that randomly disappeared, and it helped in order to slow down or stop them from building a nuclear bomb. Then they got a deal from Obama, which helped them in order to enrich uranium and shit. It basically was, oh, I'll pay you and nothing bad happens, blah, blah, blah. Trump canceled that deal later on. But the whole thing is that the IRGC, just because they failed once at making a nuclear bomb, they would not, like, the next time attempt to, like, why would they not attempt to make them a second time? A lot of people don't get this because they're like, oh, the first time, what about the second time? Like, what do you mean? Like, they already stopped. The first time there was nothing. It's like, why would they stop? A nuclear bomb is the surest way of making yourself a nuclear power capable of doing almost whatever you want, with the US having little to no influence or capabilities in stopping you without a huge number of casualties in the process. Like a good example is North Korea. They don't want a second North Korea, but yet it exists. And a few other places that have nuclear bombs as well are like Russia, China. And you see, like, we don't try to like do a lot of like, operations or military operations fighting them as many as we do with Iran. Like the US would never do an attack the same audacity on Russia the same way they did with Iran. And that's entirely because of that they have nuclear bombs and that they can use it any time of the day they feel like. But yeah.
It was very inaccurate news. It was fake news. So I'm very proud of the term fake news because it was my term. I came
I'm pretty sure CNN was the one you called fake news. Pretty sure.
up with it, but it's no longer accurate. It really is. It's corrupt, fraudulent news. It really is. It's fraudulent. It's not just fake. It's beyond fake. It's really criminal what they do. But I watched BBC this morning, and I don't know much about BBC other than what took place, because people were calling me saying, that was a terrible thing you said. I said, what did I say? And I said, I never said that. And when we checked it, do you agree? They agree. It was somehow generated, I guess, by AI or something, with me.
Nah, it wasn't. That one looked more like jump cuts and music put to deceive people in a certain way to make it sound like exactly what he said. And then, as you could saw, they showed angles and different footage of different things that happened, but they spliced them together in a way that made it look extremely bad. And then, because, it cut off when he was talking to show people walking there, what happened that at that point was that it made it sound like he was talking about the same thing, and they added that extremely negative music to the background to make it sound like even worse and make him sound kind of like super villainous.
Saying unbelievable. So we brought a lawsuit against them. They admit they're guilty, but we'll see how it comes out. Thank you.
Fuck them, bro.
I like that question. I like that.
Yeah. But yeah, basically the BBC one, and as I said, I fully agree with them having consequences, because think about it, not only were we funding them from our government and our taxes, but like they used it in order to propagandize and lie to their own civilians, and that's state-owned media. That literally is state-owned media by the British, by literally the British people. And that's worse because their own country is purposefully lying to them on a lot of fucking stories, and they're paying taxes to keep that shit going. But anyway, that's pretty much all.